everybody, it's Kenzy Knoxx and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be painting this lovely winterscape painting, which consists of a street with some trees and a lightly lit moon with some mountains in the background. Beginning off, we're taking some titanium white and we're just painting in the center of the canvas. That's where our moonlight is going to be behind our mountains. And then I'm going to continue with some white and some lemon yellow. So just a hair of lemon yellow mixed with your titanium white, mix those together and apply those to your canvas. Continuing to build the color and the amount of paint right here in this center area. After rinsing off your brush thoroughly, we're going to pick up some Prussian blue, some Mars black or lamp black. I use lamp black in this one. And some white. We're going to create a very, very light shade. So you're going to use a hair of Prussian blue and a hair of jet black or Mars black or lamp black. And you're going to mix those together to create a very light shade. And we're going to apply that to our canvas, going in a oval or circular like shape, and we're just going to create a darker layer. So our first layer is going to be the lightest, and then it's going to get darker and darker and darker as we move out towards the outside of the canvas. And I used a 1-inch oval mop brush in order to do this. However, I highly suggest using a regular mop brush and get it a little bit wet first, and then make sure all the drips are out of the paintbrush, and then apply the paint with your paintbrush. Using another clean mop brush, I got some water on it and dripped out all the drips, and then I'm using it to blend in the colors in a circular motion. So my brush is barely wet, and I'm just taking some of that paint and applying it and brushing the paint into each other, so blending the paints together in order to create a smooth transition. Keep going darker and darker in shade of color until you've reached the darkest shade yet, which barely has any white in it whatsoever. And that is, again, Prussian blue with lamp black. Taking a clean mop brush, I'm now going in and smoothing out the layers and blending them together to create that smooth transition. We want this to look very natural, and in order to do so, it has to be blended very well. And so I'm just going to switch arms here because my arms got quite tired doing this. And so I'm just going to keep blending that in together until I am satisfied with the results. And we're going to go over this again with glazing so it'll be even smoother in the end. And now I'm taking my size 6 flat brush and I'm just mapping out some of the areas of the canvas. So I'm just placing in some mountains where I want some mountainscapes. And that will not be our final design. I'm just using a light blend of lamp black and Prussian blue and white. And I'm also just going to place in some trees right here too. These are going to be in the very far background, so you won't see them very much. And so we're just going to place some lines for now before adding some foliage to them. Mixing a lighter shade of that color, we're going to now create the road. So map in your road right here. So we're going to go from a very narrow center, from the center of the canvas, out to the very edge corners of the canvas. I'm going to bring that line farther out. About maybe an inch, maybe half an inch up from the bottom of the canvas. I'm also creating some darker lines in the center. These will mostly be covered afterwards, so don't worry if you mess up here. We're just mapping out the area. This is going to be our bottom layer of paint, and most likely we'll go over most of it. And so now I'm just mapping in some trees that are going to be closer to the foreground. So starting in the midground and then bringing it towards us. These trees are going to get larger and larger and larger until we go all the way to the top of the canvas. I later decided to extend that tree all the way to the top, rather than just going a little ways down the canvas. Feel free to make these trees any size or shape or height you'd like. You can make more, you can make less. It's really up to you. It's your painting. Using the corner of my size 6 flat brush, I'm now creating the foliage for the trees in the very far distant background. And I'm carrying them out all the way across the canvas, just in case some of the trees have some gaps in them and you might see the background. After completing your trees, go ahead and wash off your brush and put that aside. And we're going to grab our little size 4 filbert brush, I believe, and we're going to mix in some light, some brilliant purple, some Prussian blue, and some white, and make this lovely mauve shade or purplish shade for the mountains. And we're just going to sketch in our mountains or painting in our mountains now, and this will be the final mountain that we're creating. Taking my 1-inch mop brush or oval mop brush, I'm going to take some Prussian blue, some lamp black, and some white and create a mid shade or mid tone, and I'm just going to paint in the snow areas around the street. Using that same color, I'm going to now trace in or draw in some lines for the street. We're going to go over this many times, so just make sure that they start off thinner and get wider as they come towards us. And now I'm switching to my filbert brush, and I'm just going to paint in some white and some lemon yellow, just a touch of lemon yellow into some of the areas of the road. Taking an even darker shade, I'm going to just outline the road, and then also draw in some lines or paint in some lines for the road, making sure again that they're thinner far away from us and thicker as they come towards us. Mixing up different variations of this color using the Prussian blue, the jet black or Mars black or lamp black, and white. I'm just going to create different lines of different colors, just making sure that they stay with that pattern as narrow away from us and thicker as it comes towards us. But we want to create lots of texture and lots of different shades in the road, but we want that pattern of light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. But we want some highlights in the dark areas and some lowlights in the lighter areas, but not too much so that it makes them blend all together. We do want these areas to stay highlighted or low lighted, so just be generous with your lines and then create some finer detail lines in the end. Eventually we're going to use a fan brush to create some more detail, so don't worry too much about your road, just get this painted in for our base layer. I then decided to create some mounds of snow on the side of the road, but I eventually got rid of these, so you don't need to do this next step, or you can continue with this step and create these mounds of snow as you wish. Taking a very light shade of Prussian blue, lamp black, and white, I'm just going to go over some of the snow areas, highlighting these mounds, which again, I got rid of in the end. You can kind of see I'm blending them out just a little bit. These will all be blended out and lightened up a bit. Taking my detail brush, which is a 00 detail brush, I'm going to go ahead and take some white and some lemon yellow and sketch out some highlights on the mountain. Also add in some Prussian blue to that mixture, not creating a green shade, but like a blue yellowy shade, and we're just going to add that to the mountain tops. And then we'll further highlight with some titanium white. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to go back to my mounds of snow with my filbert brush. And again, I'm highlighting it, but I'm eventually getting rid of these. Going in with a very slightly darker shade of Prussian blue, Mars black or lamp black, and white, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the areas between the white areas of snow, or the lighter areas of snow, kind of blending them all together, getting rid of the mounds, but creating one large mound at the same time. Make sure when creating your mounds that you make them smaller the farther away they are from us and larger as they come towards us. Next, taking some white and some lemon yellow, I'm just going to highlight the beginning area of the road where the moonlight is the brightest. And I'm also going to add some lines to the road closest to us as well. And then going in with a darker shade of Prussian blue and jet black or Mars black or lamp black. I can never get that right. I'm just outlining the outside of the road and then adding in some lines and some shadows to the road too. Continue adding different variations of colors to the road using a mixture of Mars black or lamp black, Prussian blue, and white. These different shades will add different areas of highlights and lowlights to the road and make it look more natural in appearance. Grabbing my size 4 fan brush, I'm now going to create some foliage using mostly lamp black but a little bit of Prussian blue too. So create your trees coming from the midground to the foreground, making sure that they get larger in size as they come towards us. Once you're done with your trees, make sure that all your details are complete so that they can dry. And then we're going to go ahead and add some highlights to our trees. So starting with the background, we're going to take a lighter shade of that Prussian blue, that lamp black and white, and we're just going to apply some highlights to the trees very far away. And make sure you don't cover all of that darkness. We need that darkness, that contrast to really show through. We're eventually going to add a foggy layer to that too as well, which will lighten it even further. But we're going to add some highlights to the trees in the midground and the foreground. So continue moving forward with this mid-tone before we actually add the highlights, the real highlights to the trees. Once you're done with the midtones, go ahead and take that same fan brush and we're just going to create some streaks, some darker streaks and some lighter streaks in the road. Make sure your fan brush is just a little bit wet so that this paint really glides on your canvas. If not, it'll just create patchy spots, which we're not looking for. And then once you're done with your road, go ahead and wash off your fan brush and then take some luminous yellow and some titanium white and we're going to add some real bright highlights to our trees, both in the foreground, and then we're going to create that foggy layer in the background using that same shade with some water on our filbert brush. Taking our size 4 filbert brush, we're now going to create a foggy layer in the background using that luminous yellow, that titanium white shade, and we're just going to get some water on our brush with that paint and then just scumble it in the background just to create that far background distant look. And once you're done with that, we're all done with our painting. So I hope you enjoyed this YouTube tutorial. I know I did. Please remember to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So until next time, I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye!